Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. We'll be back in 1 second. We're going to talk about some of the worst decisions in boxing. I know we're coming off a weekend of some people are calling it the worst decision they've seen in boxing. Stick around. We'll see a few worse decisions.
Shout out Bruce Gass, aka Toka 2. You know I had to drop a trap for my boy.
Hey, where you at?
Yeah, I've been in your rapping boys out here telling favors. I'm the hardest young nigga, I ain't signed to no label. Hey, Bruce Gass putting them fights on the table. Calling that Boston since Kane versus Abel. Smoking so much gas, you would think that shit was fatal. On the people's champion like Muhammad Ali. Shout out Bruce Gass, one day we gon' meet. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, we gon' smoke hella weed. Yeah, we gon' blow it down, take a hit out the Toka 2. Slipping hella shots, feel like Tyson with the peak. Little Glock by my side, but it hit just like Isaac Cruz. Shout out man, Chad, real shit, that's my fucking dude. We always cooking on the pan. Strapped to my side, I ain't talking about no sandwich. Bruce passed me the blunt, I'ma light it like a candle. Ayy, non-stop bars, man, I always spit flames. Feel like Bruce Gass always got a different strain. Bitch, you ain't like me, you can never feel my pain. You win and you lose, well, this the fight game. Don't beef on the net and the shit won't change. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the game. Said that on the stream, gotta do it for the chat. I ain't undisputed, yeah, hold on, I ain't undisputed, but I want all the straps.
Good evening once again here. Bruce Gass, boxing, jazz, and more. And we are going to talk about the crazy decisions we've seen in boxing. Like this is something new. Like a controversial decision in boxing. Oh my. We're gonna talk about some. We're gonna show a few. We're gonna do a few hits on the Toka 2. I got some Green Dragon in here. Some ice cold water. We get nice here before the show starts. Get the head right, man. Let a few people file in if they will. It's been an interesting day too, man. I see my friend Joe in there. Shout out to my buddy Joe, man. Charles D, thank you for coming by. Marky Don, salute my brother. Your Story TV, thank you, man, for coming by. The Boxing Lounge, peace to you, my brother. Andre Southgate, thank you for coming by. And I was in Blood's show this morning. He was talking about everybody's talking about this decision. And my friend, hey, Electro Jet, how you doing, brother? Thank you for stopping by my channel for sure, man. And let's see here. I gotta do another hit. Whenever I get disrupted, I'm gonna have to. That means the brain cells are disrupted, so I'm gonna have to reintroduce themselves with some of this. I got this orange bud I picked up today. Very, very nice. Very nice. Hey, my brother Jose Angel Diaz. Salute to you, man. Thank you for coming by. We'll do a few hits to get right. But I'm going to tell you about some of the decisions I've run across. But anyway, man, I was in Bloods today, and my brother Joe, he says, hey, Bruce, today was 30 years ago. Riddick Bowe fought, there goes the mind, excuse me. Jesse Ferguson. I knew I'd think of it. Just takes a second. That's the one who Mike Tyson said, I'm gonna put his nose into his brain. Hey, Brian Hawkin, how you doing, brother? Thank you for coming by. And anyway, man, Joe says, hey, Bruce, today's the 30th anniversary of Riddick Bowe and Jesse Ferguson. So I got this friend of mine. His name is Jonathan Felton. Let me get some water here. The throat is dry. Must be all this smoking I do. My official Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz and More tumbler here, man. See that? Custom made by Fistiana and Blood Boxing. Got the brother Curtis Anderson looking at me every time I take a drink. We got Miles Davis down below with Marvin Hagler. This is great, man. It holds 20 ounces of water. I love it. But anyway, I sent Jonathan a text. I said, hey, Jonathan, if Riddick's around, ask him what he was doing 30 years ago. And if Jesse Ferguson rings a bell. So I'm sitting there, so I get a phone call. And this is the 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. I mean, dude, people say that I've spoken to Riddick. I met him once before. Speaking crystal clear, I thought it was a recording. I said, hello? He says, hey, Bruce Guy. I said, shit. I was like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But Riddick Bowe and Jonathan, they hang together. They travel together. And I spoke to Riddick, man. It was very cool. He's got a book coming out. He says he'll come on here and talk to me. And right now he's on a book tour. If anybody wants to read, I think it's called Big Daddy Forever. But I mean, just a hell of a guy. I called him Riddick Blow when I first met him. And he's like, whoa, nobody ever called me that before. He's like, I like that. He goes, I like to get blowed. And anyway, man, he remembered it. He says, it's Riddick Blow. And man, it made me go up a little bit, man. Just talking to a cat like that who's been in some controversial decisions himself. And yeah, he definitely was a great fighter. But I watched the fight on Saturday night. Well, I thought Lomachenko won. It was a great fight. I mean, these are the kind of fights that should be rematched. It calls for a rematch. It was a fantastic fight. It's got a controversial ending, and we'd like to see a do-over. This is what rematches are made for. But controversy, dude. There's been so many controversial fights that I've seen in my years of watching boxing. We're going to go through a few of them in here, man. And damn, going back to another friend of mine who I talked to the other day, man, my friend Tim Witherspoon. 40 years ago on Saturday was Tim's the anniversary of Tim fighting Larry Holmes. It was his first world championship and his 14th fight. And it was a smoking controversial decision. I was watching it at my buddy's house. I didn't have HBO at the time. He had HBO. And, you're expecting to hear. And the new, hey, my brother Carl Hunter Hansen here. How you doing, my man? And that didn't happen. But it caught Tim totally off guard. He was like, whoa. I even made a little video of it because my buddy Brian, who's his business manager, he taped it. He said, "Hey Tim, Bruce just called." He said, "Whoa!" And he talked because he loves to talk about that fight. And then maybe we'll watch that one later on too. And then there was another fight that I saw. So I love heavyweights. I'm digging on some jazz in the background too, man. This is the Aaron Johnson Quintet. They're playing live at Smalls Jazz Club in New York City. This is from November 15th, 2021. Aaron Johnson on alto sax, James Zoller on trumpet, Jimmy Halpern on tenor sax, Mike Boone on bass, Sasha Perry on piano, and Mikai Boone on drums, man. I always like some good jazz in the background, and I kind of like look at this live stuff that's saying, hey, Maurice, how you doing, my brother? Oh, there's just so many of them, man. Holyfield and Lewis. Absolutely. You know, Holyfield is coming off of the. He was relatively close to the Tyson victory. Lennox Lewis was beating everybody. He had the WBC title. I mean, what did Holyfield have? The WBA and the IBF. I'm not even sure, man. All these crazy belts, but that was another fight, man. Crazy judging went on there. Do you remember the Holyfield with Nikolai Valu fight? That was the big. Hey, William Old School, my bro. Salute. That was the 7-foot Russian. Don King was promoting to become a heavyweight champ, and he did. He did. He was a 2-time heavyweight champ. It was Holyfield went to Switzerland, and he was over the hill, but he did enough to win the fight. He clearly won the fight, and he got robbed. Something just went down in the kitchen. I don't know what it was, but just do boxing, my brother. But boxing has been like that, man. And one of the decisions I saw, I think I'll put this on. I'll see if I can get my little TV up there going on. See if I can find this fight here. It should be real easy to pull up. Yeah, I think I can throw this on in the background without any helm. Let's see how long ago this was. 7 years, yeah, man. We had Dave Tiberi on the show about a year ago. He told me about this fight. I remember watching this fight, bro. This was a Tony came in. He was the IBF champion. He had just defeated Michael Nunn. Tremendous fight. Knocked out Michael Nunn. Come from behind victory. He was making a name for himself in the middleweight division. He was the man. But making the weight was the killer. Making the weight was really hard for James Toney. He's only 23 years old. He takes on this kid, Dave Tiberi. Never heard of Dave Tiberi before. See if I can. Put it up on my little. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. Yeah, this is the screen I'm gonna put it on. We'll put it up there in the on the corner television screen. Dave Tiberi. He was an East Coast fighter, 25 years old. I mean, and this fight is another one. Hey, Sheedley here, how we doing? Oh, Jimmy Young, man. Jimmy Young and Ken Norton. Somebody earlier in the chat mentioned that. I think it was my brother Mark. Was it Marky Don? He mentioned that, man. Yeah, that was that was the end of Jimmy Young's career, basically. Jimmy Young snorted his career way after that fight. He was so discouraged. You know, he came within a fraction of a few rounds defeating Muhammad Ali. But you know, James Tiberi, he was considered a shoo-in on this fight. He was considered a shoo-in. You know, Tony always had that problem to make weight, and this was really a problem at 160 for James Toney. But Tiberi, he was in charge in this fight. I mean, there's just so many decisions that we can go through. But you can see, man, he's coming bombs away on James Toney. James Toney is going out here with the intention of taking him out fast, but I don't think that's going to happen, man. Just so many. I'll keep this on the TV up top there, and I mean the Shannon Briggs and George Foreman. You catch, remember that fight? You know, George Foreman just got a gifted decision from Axel Schultz, defending his IBF championship. he beat Shannon Briggs, but they gave it to Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs was a champion. Just another one, man. See, these fights, after a while, when you've been in boxing long enough, it's part of boxing. It's the way it goes, man. It happens all the time. I mean, Pernell Whitaker and Jose Luis Ramirez. That was Whitaker's first championship fight. He went to France. He got jobbed. He lost a unanimous decision. Terrible, terrible decision. But James Tiberi's mother, and we had James Tiberi on here. He just couldn't believe it. He staggers James Toney, Dave Tiberi, and Tony throws some dynamite. Tony was a great fighter. He's got the shoulder roll down there. He's 23 years old, in great shape. Norton Ali 3, Maurice, another one, man. And we could just, anybody out there that wants to name fights, we can name those fights. Because Norton Ali 3, I scored that fight so many times, and it's hard giving Ali 5 rounds in that fight. Norton just, that right hand, like Ali's head was a magnet, and that right hand was steel. A line I'm stealing from my brother Carl Hansen out there, and it was just connecting time and time again. Boom. But James Toney and Dave Tiberi, that was a real robbery, man. That was a real robbery. I mean, it was investigated, federally investigated. James Tiberi never fought again after that. Just very, very, very distraught. Timothy Bradley and Manny Pacquiao, another one. When I watched that fight when it went on, and I thought Bradley might have edged him. I watched it again. I replay, and I don't know what I was doing, but I know I was very high that night, which I kind of am every night now. In this recreationally legal state of Rhode Island, where you can smoke your herb and not worry about getting in trouble like happened in the old days. Jackie Callan, that was James Toney's trainer. She was a pretty little gal, man. She was one of the not a trainer, a manager. James Toney had the great Pops Miller training him, former trainer Muhammad Ali. But Dave Tiberi, and like I said, I was watching this fight. There was kind of some traumatic shit going on, but I caught it in the afternoon. I watched that at my girlfriend's house, and I was kind of paying attention to other things, but I was watching this fight closely. Just expecting, this was on, I think it was on Sports World. It was a Saturday afternoon fight, NBC Sports World. They were big James Toney people. Freddie Pacheco was at ringside announcing it, and it was just incredible to see this kid that seemed to come out of nowhere. Dave Tiberi fought on ESPN, on USA. Was never in any main events before. Never in any pay-per-views, Showtime or HBOs. But here he was, man. Here he was on the big stage against the best middleweight in the world at the time. Ooh. We can watch the action here, man. Watch it a little better. You see enough of me. Yes, he was. Freddie was the fight doctor for Ali. Not at the end. Freddie got out, I think it was after the Ernie Shavers fight. Thomas the Hitman Hearns is at ringside. You know, boxing is big. It was big. I don't know, man. You know, in boxing, it's judging fights are so subjective. So you got to remember, boxing is the only sport. Maybe you can add gymnastics and maybe high diving. Diving off the board into the water. But boxing's the only sport, man against man, where we have to wait. If it's a decision, we have to wait for three people to tell us who won. And all three people are sitting at different angles. They have different criteria how they're judging a fight. I mean, it's insane. The Olympics, there's been talk of corruption in the Olympics as far back as I can remember. In 1984, 1990, especially the 2000. I can't remember the Olympics it was, but there were judges being dismissed. All kind of talk of judges and referees being paid. Boxing's a crooked sport. This is why after this fight this weekend, a rematch would be the greatest way to settle it. And plus, we're going to see what the pay-per-view numbers are going to be like, because that'll probably determine whether there's going to be a rematch or not. Michael Carbajal was a hell of a flyweight. I'm going to do a hit on this Green Dragon. I'm going to be brewing a batch tomorrow. I'm down to my last bottle, but it's a healthy bottle. We're in round number 4, and nobody thought that James Tiberi was going to stand toe to toe. That Green Dragon, the burn of 195 proof grain alcohol, worse than 151. I don't know if any of you cats ever did shots of 151 when you were younger. You could do a shot of that, light a pick, and spit fire if you were crazy enough. And this stuff, we only do a like a cc under the tongue, but it's enough to feel that burn. And man, I'll tell you, it looks like James Toney is feeling that burn from Dave Tiberi. Tony's got him against the ropes, but Tiberi just standing there, tough Italian kid, got his feet planted, zoning in on James Toney with body shots, head shots, nice double hook to the body. Pesky kid. Bill Miller, Pops Miller's telling James Toney, get this kid out of here. Get this mosquito away from me. But Tiberi just putting his head in Tony's chest. Tony, like I said earlier, man, not using the tools that he has. He looks like he's already winded, but he's still James Toney. And a lot of judges, they remember that, and judges are only human too. That's another thing I'm hearing now. I'm hearing a lot. Two of these judges were the same judges from Tank and Ryan Garcia. They scored the second round 9-9, even with the knockdown and the domination. But this is boxing. This is what we subject ourselves to. We're in the hands of three blind mice. Even the other sports I just mentioned, where you need a decision to find the winner, like the gymnastics, balancing on the pole, and the Olympic diving on the board. You're still going against yourself. You're not going against an opponent. Where we should know. I mean, we see a horse race, we see a car race, we see anything, a baseball game. We know who's going to, basketball game, football games. Boxing, we hold our breath, anticipated. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of emotion. People are going to boo. Boxing is People have a lot of money going on, especially in Vegas. A lot of dough on these fights. But as far as fanboyism goes, man, I don't mess with that at all. I could care less if Lomachenko or if Devin Haney won. I saw a good fight. It was a close fight. One round, one way or another in my books. Do it again. Rematch it. What other fights are there? Right now at 135, you think Tank's going to win in and fight Devin? Or Loma? Or Shakur Stevens? Shakur Stevens, I don't think he's the draw right now. I don't think they'll give him the money he wants. I don't think they'll give Devin Haney the money he wants. Lomachenko, he doesn't ask for the big bag, they say. I don't know, man. You know, business of boxing, it's almost beyond me, but I'll tell you, it seems like it'd be good business to make a rematch with this because everybody's talking about it. And we're gonna go towards the end a little bit. This was a 12 rounder. You know, through the magic of YouTube, we're gonna go move ahead a little bit. We're gonna move ahead to the I don't know what round we're in, but we're in the latter part of the fight here. And Tiberi is pushing James Toney around. James Toney, hey, my brother, Scrapbook Boxing, peace to you, my man. Thank you for stopping by. And Scrapbook, I don't know if you got the message, man, but Archie Moore's daughter, Jay Marie, she very impressed. I sent her the videos you did on her dad, and she's writing a book, and she wanted to talk to you about it. She wanted to correspond with you. So, man, if you're into that, bro, get in touch with me. Bruce Gass Boxing at Bruce Goes. It's Bruce Goes at gmail.com. I'll write it in here. But all she wants to do is ask you tell us some of the stories about her dad. And this is the real Jay Marie Moore. My brother Leon Mohammed introduced me to her, and you know Leon Mohammed, and you know I've talked to her several times. In fact, the other night during the Lomachenko and Haney fight, I asked a bunch of people. This was cool too, man, because I know a lot of people in the game now. And I sent a bunch of texts out. I asked Bobby Ches, I asked Vinny Paz, I asked Riddick Bowe, I asked Marlon Starr. I just sent a bunch of texts out. Who do you think's going to win? The majority of the people who came back, they said that they thought Haney was going to win. Maybe I'm going to say out of the 20 responses I got, 16 of them said that Haney was going to win. Appreciate that, Scrapbook, and I mean it's so great that we can interact here on Facebook and meet these people, because man, it was such an honor meeting her and having her as my friend now, where I can give her a buzz. Who knows, man? She comes in the chat all the time. She comes in here. She might even be in here. Now there's only a few people in here now, man, but she's been in here a few times, and you know you're a treasure in this boxing world. And she's the daughter of a legend, and she's got some stories. And man, I sent her your video, and she said, "Who is this man? This is great. I'd like to talk to him and see what I can do." And this is what I did. But man, like I'm talking about earlier, Dave Tiberi came out of nowhere. He's from New Jersey, and I had the pleasure of having him on the show, and he told us about this fight, how this was it, man. This blew his mind. The decision hurt him so much that he never boxed again. He had 6-figure offers. James Toney looks like he's got a little problem with his legs there. He's limping a little bit. I think Tiberi might sense that. But getting back into the draws in boxing, one of the ones I remember the most, because I tell you, cats, I love heavyweight boxing, and it's funny because last week we saw Rolly Romero with the premature stoppage with Barroso, And that's kind of what happened with Mike Weaver when he fought Michael Dokes. And Joey Curtis was the referee, and Joey Curtis stepped in there and he prematurely stopped this fight. And you know, some people look at he was getting tagged, but see, Mike Weaver, a notoriously slow starter. There was a big scandal after this fight, and they had a rematch, and the rematch was I was anticipating it to the max. Really top notch stuff. Michael Dokes, he was a stellar amateur, fast hands, probably the fastest hands in the heavyweight division. I mean, the fastest I've probably ever seen. Faster than Ali's. And see, David Tiberi's raising his hands. He thinks he won the middleweight championship of the world. This is the heartbreak of these decisions, man, for these fighters. And James Toney, he's almost resigned to the fact that he lost. And see, I can't put the sound down because right now, when I share things and I put the sound down, I get this crazy echo, and it ruins the show. You know. I hope there's no echo now. But you can see Dave Tiberi and James Toney getting consoled by Jackie Kellen. You know, he's expecting to lose his belt, but this is boxing. This is what happens, man. This is how this is what we've become accustomed to. I mean, I'm not even talking fixed fights because I have no idea if there's any mob involvement, if these fights are fixed. I mean, boxing is such big money. That's something we can speculate on, but we see the action in the ring in these fights, and we just saw another one of these blatant robberies that we hear so much about. And I want to show you this, some of this Michael Dokes and Mike Weaver fight, because Mike Weaver, he was a scrapper. I read about him in the magazines. A West Coast fighter. He had a lot of defeats on his record. Fought like Stan Ward, Leroy Jones. Fought a lot of the West Coast fighters. Ken Norton trained with him and said, "Man, you could get in shape. You could be a name in this division." And I was listening to Mike Weaver with an interview a few years ago, and he said he ran 100 yards. He fell to his knees and puked. But he said the next day he did it. He ran a couple of 100 yards, and this time he didn't puke. He fell to his knees. The progression was there, and that was Hercules Mike Weaver. Had a great fight with Larry Holmes. He ended up getting knocked out. I believe it was the 12th round. But he gave Larry a run for his money. And when he was the champ, Larry didn't want to give him a rematch. Larry was no fool. And Larry's another one we're going to talk about too, man. But he knocked out John Tate, one of the most incredible fights you'll ever see. It was on this fabulous 4-bout card that ABC put on one night. Sugar Ray Leonard was on the card. Larry Holmes was on the card. Mustafa Muhammad and Marvin Johnson. But Mike Weaver and John Tate. And John Tate's beating Mike Weaver up for 14 rounds. In the 15th round, tremendous Hail Mary left hook. Picture perfect. John Tate kissed the mat. Was never the same after that. LaTanya, how you doing, my sister? Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you coming by. I'm gonna dig this one up here because this was this is a nice little background fight to put on. I gotta kill that sound because of the echo. But yeah, man. Mike Jokes is a heavyweight champion of the world. He got the title via that controversial 1-round stoppage. And this was the rematch. Let me go forward a little bit. We'll bypass this. We're into the first round. They called him Hercules Mike Weaver. He was built like a Mr. Olympia, muscle upon muscle, former Marine, got into boxing late, notorious slow starter. Michael Dokes, man, like I said earlier, fast, amazingly fast hands. Career that was ruined, alcohol and booze. He loved his coke. He just loved women. Fast life, and it cut his career short. I think he could have had a great career. You can just see the style that he's got, man. He's got a fast jab, fast combinations, good defense. But anyway, this was the rematch. This was the highly anticipated. Michael Dokes is giving his all, in great shape. Came to fight. His trainer, Don Emanuel. They were stunned over the way that he lost his title, and there was a big inquiry. The WBA mandated this rematch. Nevada State Athletic Commission. They polled everybody. They polled the ringside doctors. It was just a real bad stoppage by Joey Curtis, which led to this, man. Which led to this rematch. And this was another one, man. Real controversial decision. And the thing about a lot of these fights, the controversial fights, they end in a draw. In a draw, that's like the old saying goes, that's like kissing your sister. The champ retains his title. The challenger who gave his all, it just goes right back to the back of the line unless a rematch is mandated. Weaver was definitely a brick, man. This was Hercules. No PEDs needed. I don't even think he lifted weights. He just had that natural musculature. This is an amazing physical specimen, and he had power. He had a left hook. He had an amazing left and a right hand too. He knocked out Harry Coetzee. Went to South Africa, defended his title. I think it was he only had a couple of defenses. James Tillis and Coetzee. But the Coetzee fight, he went to South Africa, this huge stadium. I think there were, I don't know if it was over 100,000. It was in that neighborhood. In hostile territory, and knocked out Coetzee. But in this fight, this is after he had lost the title. He's trying to get it back. We got Richard Steele, a young Richard Steele as the referee. Harold Letterman was one of the judges. Larry Hazard, Jerry Roth. They were very very popular. Hey, my brother Nick M, how we doing, man? Good to see you out here, man. Nick M, that's a boxing channel you definitely want to go to. Fights like this are all on there, 24 hours a day, man. You can see some amazing fights, obscure fights, big names on their way up, on their way down. That's the place to go, though, man. You definitely you do yourself a favor. You sub to Nick M's boxing channel out there, and scrapbooks too, man. Don't let me forget to mention that. Classic stuff. I'm trying to show you some classic stuff here, man. I'm just trying to show you a little bit of this rematch. Mike Weaver moving behind that stiff jab. Always banging the body. And Michael Dokes had a good showing here too, but I think he was outslugged by Weaver. This was a majority draw. Harold Letterman had it even at 143, 143. Larry Hazard had it 144, 144. Jerry Roth 145, 141 in favor of Michael Dokes. So this was a Mike Weaver couldn't get a breakout in Vegas. But these are two bulls, Dokes isn't using his best asset, which would be his hand speed. He's playing Weaver's game over here. The unofficial scoring, Associated Press had it 143, 142 for Weaver. UPI had it 144, 142 for Weaver. LA Times 143, 142. But this was another one of these rematches where I watched it. Hey, Two Matador, brother. Salute to you, man. Bones, my man. How we doing, brother? Thank you for coming by. Just talking about some rematches I've seen over here. Not rematches, I'm sorry. Lousy decisions, controversial decisions. How can I? It's kind of hard to really put a label on these decisions. They are questionable. Anything that's not unanimously agreed upon by everybody is a controversial decision. Yes, Weaver was in the Marines for sure. Funny story about Mike Weaver. Mike Weaver was in the Marines. He's at the seat. What is it? The PX. He's having a drink. He goes to put some money in the jukebox, and there's a dude there that was kind of hogging the jukebox. And Mike Weaver wanted to get in there, and this guy wouldn't let him. And they ended up pushing each other. Mike Weaver knocks the guy cold. Finds out the next day that this guy's on the heavyweight on the Marine boxing team. And Weaver thought he was going to get into trouble. He was called into his sergeant, and the guy said, "Hey, the coach wants to see you in the gym." And the rest is boxing history. But yeah, man, he came out of the Marines, rolling with the punches, my brother. Salute to you, man. Salute to you. But yeah, there was some very, very controversial decisions in boxing. Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, the second fight. Thomas Hearns knocked Leonard down twice, and he still got the decision. Thing is, we get over that. See, this right here is because we got YouTube and social media, it's blowing it up, and everybody and their brothers got their opinion. And there's a lot of hostility, and it's nothing to be hostile over, man. This is boxing. This is three cats watching a fight. You're all watching the fight. You make your own decision. I know it doesn't amount to a hill of beans in the big picture, but you can watch the fight. You can rewatch it. Hey, Nelly, my man. How you doing, brother? Thank you for coming by. I appreciate you cats coming in here, man. I don't seem to say that enough, man. If not, I'd be sitting here watching it by myself. And thank you so much for being a part of it with me. I hope it's entertaining, to say the least. There's so many controversial fights. Damn, even Ali and Frazier, the first fight, man, the fight of the century. In 1970, it was 71 or 70? 70, I think. 71, man. I don't even remember the fucking year, but I remember the fight. I didn't see it live. I listened to it on the radio, round for round. It was a United Press International. But the radio stations, they have these news machines. They're almost like giant typewriters. They just spit out headlines. And after every round, they tell you a little bit about the round, and the disc jockeys. That's how we got our entertainment back in the day, listening to the music and listening to the radio. The guy would rip what happened in the fight off and read it to you. They even had some of the unofficial scoring on there. But anyway, I thought Ali won the fight until the knockdown. But it was what it is, man. Boxing lives on. I'm not a fanboy. See, I don't care who wins a fight. I could care less, man. I could care less. Black, white, red, brown, Mexican, Chinese, whatever it may be. I'm into it for the sport. I hate fucking racism in boxing, you know? It's a part of it, but it's not my part of it. My part of it is to enjoy fights, man. In fact, till I came on YouTube, I just never realized how how big a subject it was. We're moving into the fifth round. Let me fast forward this a little bit here, man. There we go. You know, you've got some amazing people at ringside too in these fights. This was 1983. Because Joe Louis, he was in Vegas. He died in 1980. He was in Vegas, always at ringside. This is a couple of years later. Don Manuel, Johnny Taco. Two of the names that I recognize in the corner of Mike Weaver. He dokes with those fast hands. And this was definitely not a one-way fight. And none of these controversial decisions are. They're usually pretty close scraps. Oh, Weaver just tries to catch him with that sneaky right hand coming in. That would have ended the fight. That's kind of the way he ended the Coetzee fight. Excuse me for a second. Nothing like the weed, man, I'll tell you. Nothing quite like it. Bonds, boxing, the brotherhood. But yeah, this fight brings me back. I was a fan of Mike Weaver, and I was thinking he was going to win this fight, especially watching the fight as it went on. Weaver was like a freight train. He had dokes on the back foot, landing thudding body shots, landing that legendary left hook of his. They're at the outdoor arena at the Dunes Hotel. I don't even know if the Dunes is still up right now. I don't know if they plowed it down to make room for another one of these crazy hotels in Vegas. But here we're in the 14th round. And it's amazing, man. These are 15-round fights. You know, 14-round fights back then, they're just getting warmed up then. The championship rounds were 13, 14, and 15. And we'll never see that again, just like we'll never see 25. We'll never see the 20 round. And we'll probably see fights lowered in rounds, if anything else. But not long ago, man, they were Haplo, brother. How you doing? Not long ago, these cats were fighting 15-round fights, man, all championships. You know, until the Ray Mancini tragedy, and you know, I heard this other story in the back scenes. See, boxing was on Saturday afternoons, and Wide World of Sports usually started like 4 o'clock, and they'd have something else, and then they'd have the fight would start at they had to have it start at 5:30 if it was a 15-round fight, and they'd run overtime. They'd run into the 6 o'clock news time. And so I heard that the television had a lot to do, the networks had a lot to do with lowering the fights to 12 rounds too, to compact them more to fit into their time slot. But hey, man, yeah, if anybody wants to come up here, tell me about some of the most controversial decisions you can remember, you're more than welcome. You can have your own opinion on boxing. You know, See, the thing about the judges is they don't have the luxury to have replay and slow motion and do all these things that everybody on YouTube is doing today. You know, they're telling how many punches are landed. You know, they can say if a punch landed or not. When you're sitting at ringside, and judges, they have different angles. So it's so subjective. And Weaver, and Dokes is only young too. What did I say Dokes was, man? He's 23 or something, very young. Both of these guys are. Weaver wasn't that old either, but Weaver, he became a gatekeeper after this fight. You know, it's, something like this will definitely take the heart away from to take the fire away from a contender. Doak's very elusive though. Weaver's trying to land that Hail Mary left hook. Because he knows that Don King is against him and the promoters are against him. Las Vegas. And this was basically Weaver's last hurrah. Weaver did have one great upset. I remember watching this one back in 1986, and it was I got Haplo coming in here. It was Mike Weaver. He was on a card, and it was a Mike Tyson card, and he fought Carl the Truth Williams. Carl the Truth Williams had one defeat from Larry Holmes, and it was considered, it's another controversial decision in boxing. Haplo, how we doing, bro?
Great, man. How you doing?
So just kicking back, and talking about some of the controversial decisions that I've had the displeasure to see. Got any of them on your mind, bro?
Yeah, I had one, but I don't know if you mentioned it because I just came in. The Trinidad De La Hoya.
No, we didn't mention that one yet. That's another one, man. That was another one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that decision was way worse than this Loma Haney thing. I mean, Oscar basically totally negated Tito's power. Never really got hurt in the fight. Boxed beautiful, you know, on the toes. To me, that was the best he ever looked. Did he coast in the last couple rounds? Yeah, but did Trinidad really do anything, you know, effective in those rounds to like hurt him or anything? No. So like, yeah, you could give Tito the last few rounds. And look, I'm Puerto Rican. I was rooting for Tito hard. I did not like Oscar De La Hoya, but I had Oscar way ahead on my scorecard. And you know, even if you gave Tito the last two rounds, that should not have been a Tito decision, in my opinion. So that was one of the biggest fights in the early, I think that was in 2000, if I'm not mistaken. It was like the biggest first fight of the century there. And like, we got a really shit decision on that one. But then again, Oscar did get some bullshit decisions in his favor when you look at the Whitaker and other fights, Sturm. So it evens out in his career, but I did think he deserved to win that Tito Trinidad fight.
I remember that fight. I was in Vegas just a week before the fight. I wasn't there for the fight, but Vegas was buzzing. Everybody assumed that well, watching the fight, it was a 50-50 fight. Nobody really could pick a winner in that fight. That was a highly anticipated welterweight clash. And I watched the fight. I thought Oscar did enough to win. I didn't think he totally gave away the last part of the fight. He didn't fight like he did the first 6 rounds, but I thought he definitely put enough rounds in the bank. And that was another controversial fight. But like you said, man, boxing goes on. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, bro, for sure. I just want to drop by and mention that one, and give you the saludos, and I'll let you continue on with your show, brother.
I appreciate that, Hoplo. You're always welcome over here, man. Thank you for coming by.
No problem. Later.
Peace. Hoplo Typo, my brother. Been around YouTube for a long time, man. One of the first guys that I don't know how many years I've been here, maybe 5 years or so, and he's one of the first cats that I saw as a true brother in boxing. You know, I'm sure we don't think along the same lines in a lot of things, but we have a love for this sport. We respect each other, and this fight right here, once again, it was another sad day for Mike Weaver. I was expecting Weaver to win this fight. He after this fight he couldn't get a break. He was it took a lot of the spark out of him. Get that band up and playing again over here, man. Well, boxing, it's all about controversial decisions, man. It happens. Don't get too hung up on controversial decisions because they're going to happen all the time in boxing. They're part of the game, and rematches is the answer to me as far as this fight goes. As far as Shakur Stevens, Tank Davis. You've got a bunch of up-and-coming lightweights now, too. Get them all in the mix. Have them fight each other. The problem with boxers today is they don't fight enough. If this rematch doesn't happen, Lomachenko is going to get older. Devin Haney might go into a different division. Might move up at the 140. He looked like he should be doing it now. But right now, people understand names. People don't care about divisions. They care about the two fighting each other. We'll see how the pay-per-view numbers go. If they warrant a rematch, I'm sure Top Rank will start the ball rolling on it. We'll see what Devin Haney's going to want to get back in the ring. I don't know, man. He's going to want some big bucks, but that's what boxing is now. It's more the business of boxing. Back in the day, the business was there, but we seem to get more of the quality fights and quite often. So I just wanted to stop on for a little bit and give you my views on controversial endings. It's been a pleasant hour. I appreciate it. We'll be doing it again soon. I want to get more time on here. I enjoy doing this, man. Talk a little bit about boxing. Never gets old. Get some jazz cooking in the background. Get the Green Dragon end of the tongue and some good bud in the toka too. I appreciate all you cats coming in here. I'm gonna do some running around the internet in a little bit. Get something to eat. Put the dog out. Peace out, everybody.